right, welcome to the Monday, July 19th, 2021 regular session of the Lakeside City Council. Welcome to, just one reminder to people in attendance that we are live streaming this, so just let's be aware of that as we go forward. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Simmons, have you used the pledge?
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the United States flag, we pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
The invocation is going to be provided to us by John Bates, Council Bates.
Let us pray. Dear most Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, a day that we never see again. Bless our first responders, our firefighters, EMS, and law enforcement. And dear most Heavenly Father, bless each member that's here in this council today. Give us knowledge to be able to make sound decisions for this great city, which is Lake Jackson. And most Heavenly Father, as we get ready to finish this meeting, please all traveling grace and you make it home safely.
Amen. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is visitor comments. Is there anybody from the audience that visiting with us this evening that wants to speak to council about anything that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move forward. We know that we have no presentations. Next item is declaration of conflict of interest. Again, this is an opportunity for any member on city council to declare a conflict of interest on any item on the regular agenda. Do you have any declarations of conflict of interest? Hearing none, we move forward with the consent agenda. We have items. Item A is approval of minutes for July 6th, 2021, and accept board and commission minutes as listed. We have a request to remove any item from the consent agenda. If not, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda, items A and B, that's right.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move into regular session. Regular agenda, we have item A, the public hearing to rezone Blunt subdivision, tract 64D, and replot of lot 2 through 3 at 137 Dixie Drive from B1 neighborhood business to B1 commercial. This is going into a public hearing at 6:33.
Mayor, I'm going to ask our city engineer to just kind of bring the reference to the property. Great.
The property here is the property lies between the convenience store at Blunt Corner and the church along Dixie Drive. These are two empty lots that belong to Dan Baum, pastor, and his plan is, of course, to develop a business related to the guitar industry. In this case, it is not your plain vanilla type of B1 conditioner, because it is primarily one that uses the internet for sales. They will be receiving those things, and those guitars there. They're also going to be preparing them for distribution to their customers. They will have very minor amount of walking traffic. They will have some walking traffic, but that is not the main sales method. The business itself wasn't the neighborhood, the zoning that exists at this time was in the being changed was a B1, and that therefore the reason for it having to be changed into a one that was more appropriate for that, yet not really changing the affecting the properties that surround that particular area. That's why the planners decided to create create that zone to be a C1 that will allow this type of development and not be open for anything more, that would create problems for the surrounding areas. They went through the planning process, through the public hearing, and was approved by the planners, and now comes back to you for the same reason. And Pastor Ball here is here, ready to respond to whatever questions you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dan Ball, and I live at 149 Village Street in Lake Jackson. And if you'd like, I have a presentation that we can go through. I think we have copies of it there. We can get there. We're Cleo Guitars is a family business that we started in July of 2012, and right now we rent space in a warehouse of 1602 Old Island Road. And we are a retail business, but not the type of retail business that most people think of, and the vast majority of our sales are online. We do have local sales. We sell also a fair number of cars to schools, not just in Texas, but all over the United States. So about 10% of our sales are to schools. And I can assure you I don't make any money off those. I do that because I want to do it. I want to help the kids learn how to play the guitar. I got to learn how to play the guitar when I was 50 years old. And trust me, it's a lot easier when you start in the school. We do have repair services, and we do have walk-in appointments. And we have people who just drop by, find us online, and just come by without an appointment. We prefer to have appointments with people come by and look at the car. If you look at the property, again, Sal covered this. It's there on Dixie Drive, right across from Slade Field, right next to the Lighthouse Baptist Church. And I am pastor of the Lighthouse Baptist Church. This has absolutely nothing to do with the church. This is our property. This is our business. My wife and I. It is a family business. We only have 5 employees right now, and none of us are really full time. Our hours are typically 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. We get there at noon, we go home at noon. It's kind of late. All 5 employees are our family. It's me, my wife Betty, my daughter-in-law Margaret, up there, and 2 of our grandchildren. We also get employees. But what our plans are to continue to run this business as a family business, and we continue to grow and develop this business model. I don't intend to be there forever, but my grandchildren and my daughter-in-law, especially, are real years in taking over the business and growing it when that time comes. We think our whole effort has been well planned, and we think that we're going to be a very positive addition to the Dixie Drive area. If you our history, if you look at what we've done with the building there at the White House, we're doing it right, and hopefully we're very positive part of the community. Adjacent business and the little convenience store there on the corner, and then the church, which is on the other side of the property, are well separated from the property. This is a solid difference. So there's only one house that's close to the hall, and it's not going to be close to the building. It'll be close to the property, but not close to the building. This is what the architect drawing looks like for the building. The colors aren't quite right. It's going to be a green roof and masonry on the waistcoat, and then I can remember what it was. Ephes. Looks like stucco, maybe it's called Ephes. above the waistcoat, and they'll all be tan colored. And so look really nice, I think. We'll have good landscaping there. We don't have to take one tree down on the property. And it's Indian tall tree, so I don't think anybody should be able to see it. I know I won't miss picking up the limbs when I know it's there. The next, this just shows how the building fits on the property. We are going to have a fence around it, primarily to prevent vandalism. There's a store there right next to the building. We've never had any issues with vandalism in the church. But that little store on the corner there has to be food all the time over in the back of the building. We're just not trying to make sure that's at least difficult. One thing that is not evident from this drawing is that there are two lots there, and we are in the process of doing that replatting of one lot. So the C1 zone will move for the newly replatted lot inside of the lot. So we think that will go in the future without thinking there should be one. And if we could look at the last slide, the building is basically it's 4,350 square feet, and the front part of this office is a workspace, and the back part is all air conditioned storage for cars and people that use it. So I'll be happy to answer any questions for you.
Mr. Bell, thank you for your presentation. When would you be getting your achievement to the completion of this project?
Well, we hope to be through by Christmas, but that's not going to happen. Assuming after the second reading, if we can get our permit, first week in August, we can not be going down. And then everything's already ordered, and some of the things already been delivered to our suppliers, the steel and things like that. We hope to be able to have an opening for the facility probably in March. Really up in February. I think we can stop and then go back there. But that's what I plan.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience?
Can I ask? I have one concern.
Sorry. You can come up to the podium with your own address.
My name is Antonio Nieves, and I recently purchased 53 South Blunt Street, which is directly behind. He mentioned one house earlier. That's my house. We live on South Blunt Street, and I don't know if y'all are aware of it, but there are signs that get put up on that street on North Blunt regularly because that street floods, and the water is so deep that you literally cannot drive through it. I have a video on my phone. It's a 6-minute video. It shows the street completely flooded. It shows VISD school van having to drive through the water to get to wherever they need to go. There's another vehicle that's driving through the water. It's a pretty high vehicle. But when that North Blunt area floods, even the people that live in the home where it's flooded cannot leave their home because it's so flooded over there. And my only concern is Pastor Ball, I believe, has been nice enough to have the city come in and create a byway that's right there on these two lots where he plans to build this at. And I have no idea if he has plans to keep the thoroughway through there.
You want the pointer? If you want to put it
I
on.
can check the rules. It's what's that?
Right, that byway right there, and that's my house right there. So if he builds a building there and cuts off that byway, when it floods, when it rains and it floods, how am I going to get to work? I drive a Chevy Cruze, which I don't know if y'all know what type of car that is. It's a little tiny car.
Right.
And when I drive through the water, I have driven through it before because I didn't think it was that deep. They tell you don't drive through the water because it's deeper than you think it is. I didn't think it was that deep. It went over the hood of my car and almost completely flooded my engine. And my only concern is, like I said, if they remove that byway by building their business there, which I don't mind him building his business. I have no hard feelings for this man at all. I actually go and help him out a little bit. I clean up, when I can, when I see the stuff there. is he does own a church, and he's I have a lot of respect for him. But like I said, at the same time, how are we going to get out of our neighborhood if he builds a business there and cuts off that bypass?
I'm happy. Thank you. The building is going to be here, right next to the little store.
Okay.
And if you go look at all our plans, I don't know if it's not having with them, but the passageway there, we have an agreement with the city to allow that. And I actually got home to church, I think it's the pastor.
Okay.
Clear that up.
If I interject there, Pastor,
Sure.
could you put that site plan again that he used before? You can show that passage.
Oh, sure. Okay, this. Okay, here it is right here. This goes between those big pine trees right there.
Okay.
This is driveway through, and the passage is actually
Right. And
It's
I mean,
actually
that's
not-
my only
it's actually not
concern
here.
is that,
the only thing I've ever even thought about building on this property over here is some additional parking. And right now we have no plans at all.
I mean, that's why I came today, was to actually see where you're planning to build at. And that is my concern, because my house is right there, and everyone in that whole entire neighborhood uses that bypass.
I just wish you'd tell everybody never do one thing. When they go through, please stay on the road.
Right.
That would be real nice. Then we'll have you run
Let me add another tidbit on this drainage law, and that is true. That intersection goes underwater under certain conditions. Not all the time. It does go underwater though. We're hoping that the project that is in the process, that Clute has now gotten grant for, that will go out there and improve that drainage outfall that services this area right here. It will serve some type of as a relief to them.
This passage here is on private property.
This is, yes, it's on his property, and the pastor has in the past given us, permission to go through there. There was a rope, cable gate, I guess that was, and every time that we had that condition, he would be open to that thing, and then we have to track it there.
That's my new trip. Make sure this is not a city throughway.
It's a private throughway that is permitted by the pastor. Now, there was.
License we gave them, they granted us a license to that one. So it's kind of written with
Written agreement?
Yeah, there is a written agreement. Now, in this particular case, are there gates on those fences?
No, we took them all. Oh, these fences?
Yes.
There will be gates on these fences. They'll be
Locked.
Locked.
Is that for the church or for his property? Or they kind of adjoining both, right?
Right now it's that would be. I don't know whether the other path is still open, and I guess it's still
Yeah,
open.
it's still open, yeah. And we don't have a gate on the I don't know what we call that, access road.
I call it a byway,
Okay,
because
byway.
it gets us out of the neighborhood.
Yeah. We don't have a gate on that anymore. We took that down because people just drive around and just sitting out.
This is a fence right here, right?
Yes, that is a fence.
So
That's
you're gonna have gates right here?
yeah, we'll have gates right there.
So when they need it, needs to be open, just like you had right here.
Say again, please. I'm sorry for the last part.
There'll be gate here. and
Yes.
Gate here.
Yes.
So when they need it, like they do at the current time.
Well, we're going to leave the other. We're going to leave the other.
We're going to pass it with some sort of.
It's not-
The original, he's saying the original passage is saying that.
But they'll
That's
have
my
access to
question.
them when they need it.
Yes, but not through these gates.
Not to those. There's original passage closer to the church.
Well, I asked the question, that they're gonna have gates right here, that's where your fence. when you see
Yeah,
it.
there will be gates here, but that passage is down here.
Oh, that's not the passage right
That's not
there?
the passage
Oh,
there
okay,
now.
okay. All right, very good.
This is a new. This passage goes down here.
Okay, I was thinking, okay.
Actually, this corner right here. That's the corner next to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's my only concern, is just that we still have that byway, because it does flood over there. And I have no idea if they'll have plans to work on that area, but it does get, I mean, the water
It's
gets
a
3 to 4
legitimate
feet.
concern.
The water gets 3 or 4 feet deep in that area sometimes.
That's why the thing's there.
Well, we've had that road there for 10 years now, and I think that's when we visit later, and we intend to, because the city helps us maintain it as needed, so we really appreciate that. But, let's look at it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions as far as the public hearing on this side? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 6:50, and we'll go to item B. This ordinance rezoning Blunt subdivision tract 64D and replats for lots 2 and 3 at 136 Dixie Drive from B1 neighborhood business to C1 commercial first reading.
This is an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Lake Jackson, Texas, finding that all of the represents of the law that comply with necessary to the zoning map of the city, and amending the zoning map of the city of Lake Jackson, Texas, by the zoning Blunt subdivision tract 64D and replats of lot 2 through 3 located at 137 Dixie Drive from B1 neighborhood business to C1 commercial, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, and providing a publication.
Take a motion.
Move for approval.
A motion to approve at the second. Any further discussion on this item?
Just to the planning commission, like, great deliberation on this and, is
And also, always remember, you are not rehabilitated, so I don't see it release. Although it's a small lot, most objections, so you won't be able to fit on it. The council commission is.
All right, any further discussion on this item? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. That's first reading, so we'll be back next council meeting for the second and final. All right, we'll move to item C. It's going to be a public hearing to rezone, and it's at 652, rezone 4-acre tract at 111 Farm Market Road, 2004, adjacent and ramping Bucky's convenience store from a B1 neighborhood business to a T1 single family residence townhouse.
I don't know where the interested parties are because they didn't know about that, about plug-in. They knew about the plug-in, but I'm not here. At least I don't know. I don't know whether you want to wait or you want to handle this through the first public hearing.
Here, my only concern was talking about also earlier that the residents behind this building are really never would have been notified for this rezoning because they don't fall within the distance required for notification. And so the most area back there is clean as we recall, we had a lot of input from residents when we were rezoning the old bowling alley. We had council chambers full, there were people who were had some issues with this. I just wanted to bring the attention of the council because down the road we may have issues moving forward because the law states only so many feet of residents will notify.
But it was also, we do have to publish it in so it's published. But
one of the things I'd like to eventually see is some signs installed in any property that may be rezoned to let nearby residents know that it's in the process of being rezoned. So any questions or comments, they can contact us regarding that. So that would be additional help because I realize people are supposed to do that and they don't, and then down the road we always run into commitments and issues. So I'm just speaking on that.
so the question is right now, is we have a public hearing and there's, they want to speak to other than us, or county or staff. That we can either, delay this and,
We're gonna have a second reading and planners, public hearing, nobody showed up either to speak for or against this process. Or planners. So I don't wanna hold the process up. So, I mean, we still have second hearing, second reading we can still make changes to it, so.
Yeah, and I'd like to ask, Tammy, do we have to, if they postpone first reading, do we have to advertise again?
If they want to have a public hearing, we're gonna
this is my suggestion is press forward. We'll do a first reading, and if you want to do additional publication, we can do that. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of people that will be against this, because the reason why we have the people that were against the other one was because it was had some complaint that the road was that's why.
Mr. Gary can make a presentation as much as he
Right.
has knowledge of the project.
Correct.
Maybe some specific questions.
Yes, I mean, I can go through the actual, just the generalities of this, now, this is a new solar, so I can do that.
How many units are going to be?
25 units, I believe. 35 units, or so.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to making a move forward and approving this, but it's just for future, maybe perhaps let's look at something.
Okay.
Mr. Gary, can you just go ahead and
Okay, yes, this is a T1 type of development, something similar that went through at the Garland Drive, the Harmony Park townhouse area. The Harmony Park was a rental townhouse concept. This one is a for sale project. They are preparing to build these townhouses similar to the same product that they are using on this previous one, but this is going to be up for sale. They recognize all the challenges associated with this particular development, because you well know that this area is subject to riverine flooding when the Brazos River and the Basso Bayou flood. So they are aware of the conditions that are going to be imposed on them, which primarily is going to be that the whole site itself be raised to at least a minimum of 60-foot elevation. The base elevation of that area is 15, according to the new mapping. So therefore, they will have to do something similar that went along with the low storage area, or this is the low storage area, which is right next door to it, or at least the one track away from this, and also the apartments across 2004. They were all required that they build over to that 16-foot elevation, and then whatever goes on their elevations of their buildings. They are aware of that condition. That will, of course, they are also aware that there is detention associated with this particular development, which is going to be a requirement for mitigation purposes. And the property has two accesses, one to the frontage road of 2004. You have one to the Old Hamilton Road intersection there, close to where the Buc-ee's entrance are. One of the conditions that we would, I guess, a benefit to the city would be the fact that particular stretch of land to the south will become a burn type situation that we're trying to create all the way from here, from this location, from the Buc-ee's location, all the way to the other Buc-ee, to the headquarters of Buc-ee's. That is part of the overall plan. We have planned a project for that purpose. sometime during the year where we're gonna be extending that berm all the way through in order to protect what we call the northeast quadrant of Lake Jackson from any type of flooding that we have experienced in the past. Part of this project that this will be formed part of is that relief channel that we put in on that south side of the project, of that particular project, that serves as an escape valve for the water that builds up in the Slade ditch or the Brazos Canal. We have the utilities, we have water, and we have sanitary sewer that services that area. And so that is not a, I mean, we are able to produce or provide them back to those facilities. We haven't done, this is just for zoning, so we're not getting into the site will come back later when the time comes, and we will be looking at the overall site landscaping requirements and the drainage requirements.
Any questions on this out on this item?
Just, you might have covered this already, so these properties, is unit for sale or rental?
That would be for sale.
For sale.
The previous ones were for rental, time-wise.
Okay, and the purpose of the hearing is to discuss possibly moving the tract of property from B1 to 2. There's not any other questions on this, or then we'll close the public hearing. Close the public hearing at 7:01. We'll move to item D, ordinance rezoning a 4-acre tract at 111 Farm Market, 2004, adjacent and Rampy Bucky's convenience store. B1 neighborhood business to T1 single family residence town. First reading.
This is an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Lake Jackson, Texas, finding that all prerequisites of the law are compliant with necessary to amend the zoning map of the city. And amending the zoning map of the city of Lake Jackson, Texas, by zoning 4-acre tract at 111 Franklin, 2004, adjacent to and behind the Bucky's convenience store, from B1 neighborhood business to T1 single family residence townhouse, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, and providing for publication.
Take a motion on this item.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the ordinance rezoning of 4-acre tract at 111 FM 2004, adjacent and Rapid Bucky's convenience store, from B1 to T1 for sale.
Okay, I have a motion, any second? And second, any further discussion on this item? Any further comment from the audience? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it's approved on first reading. We have second reading of the first reading. All right. We have item E. Approve a resolution declaring intention to reimburse certain expenditure with borrowing proceeds in the amount of $7,600,000 for the new animal control facility, the library flooring, streets and drainage repairs to include Pine Oak, North Shady Oaks, and Forest Oak.
So this is a resolution, this is a typical resolution we do when we issue bonds. We'll be issuing the first phase of our vote approved bonds at this calendar year. So this is just a resolution that we can get started spending the money with engineers or architects, and then just reimburse ourselves when we actually get the funding from the bonds.
Any questions on this from council?
No. Two questions, please. One, the things that are the expenditures, are those listed somewhere? Or is this just kind of like checking, do what we need to do and reimbursement then?
There are two different things. I know Megan wants to get started on the library flooring project, so that project will probably actually almost be done, and then we'll reimburse ourselves. With the North Shady Oaks Pinnock, they usually have surveying and maybe engineering fees that they would get started on to go into that. But is there a specific list?
But it will have, all the expenditures will have to be, bond covered. So it would be just like spending a lot of funds. So it couldn't be anything that we legally could not be, for engineering services.
Nothing outside of the project.
Yeah,
It
that's
all stems
it is almost like we have the bond funds here today, and whatever can be spent on the bond funds, it has to be related to the project, it has to be, like surveying engineering, for example,
Architects in the place.
Architect's probably the biggest thing, but it's technically we could start, we have a question.
I have a question for you. What would happen if the economy had a big effect and the interest rate went up? And if they're not in the bonds, either way, it can affect security. What would happen in that?
And that's kind of, just to kind of that second part of my question was, other than expediency of getting projects done, I understand that, why did they not just go to 100 times projects done? Because of exactly what it is.
It's all about the experience of getting projects done.
Well, it is, I mean,
The market may move a little bit, it's not going to move aggressively.
We have done this before, so it's not a first rodeo. Right? I'm just asking the question, so.
I guess it could happen.
It could happen, if it does happen, we've got bigger problems.
It would probably be an extraordinary, I guess something like that. It would be extraordinary that we would not issue. Go out to
What would happen is
It hasn't
that
happened
we
in
would,
one person.
if we would go ahead and spend some dollars now before we get the bonds, because if something terrible happened, is that we would have to go back and adjust our budget because we're spending some dollars back, and so we would adjust budget. It's something we would work through. The reason for expediency is that we have a lot of projects, not only bond projects, we have a lot of projects where we require a lot of our resources, and the sooner we can get them started, we can spread these projects out so we don't overwhelm and slow things down.
Because the public voted on those bonds in May, we want to start seeing action. Especially something like the library forum that we can put out on the calendar, replacements.
Yeah, we've promised the library that we will try and work within their schedule as well, because they have to be shut down for a month or two in order for us to replace the flooring. So there's a few programs that they do that are their biggest attendance programs that happen in the time frame if we were to wait. So then we would have to push out their project even further, probably by a year almost. So this is also at the request of them in a sense.
And they've been waiting for this project for several years.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All right, so we have a resolution. I need a motion.
Make a motion for item 8 to approve the resolution declaring the proceeds from the library fund, fruits and grains declaring to include Pembroke, Rosario, and Florissant.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item F is accept recommendations and award local contract for downtown revitalization phase 3 project with utility drainage pavement and streetscape improvements of that way, Circle Way, North Parking Place to Main Lane Industries of Houston, Texas, in the amount of $7,267,190.90. and with a not to exceed amount of $8,357.20. $8,357,270. All right. Sal, tell us what you know.
What I know is we opened those bids and the Houston Eagle came here, prepared, and gave us the lowest bid. Our local contractor here fell short of the list there, as you will see. The project itself came in below the Timberhorn pre-bid or bid cost estimate. As you can see, it's 7370. So they were fairly close to in that respect. What we did is we took the low bid, which is main lane, and that you have that attachment from Timberhorn where they spell out what they did in order to qualify them as worthy to get this project. And I have not heard anything, not even from the contractors that didn't win the bid, anything negative on this company. As a matter of fact, I did hear that they're capable of doing the work. They've done a lot of textile work. I think they were part of that new construction between Bell and Houston. Yeah, that's the only problem is this is not how it would work. So we're going to have to be real. We're going to have to be on our toes and trying to see what try not to interfere with their process, but not allow them carte blanche to go out there and tear up the downtown area. So that's something that we need to.
They're going to have to work with the business owners to make sure they're stable and stay liable and don't shut them down.
They know what it takes, and yes, a lot of these companies may not have that type of sensitivity.
So when we talked about this way back, we always said that we would look at not tearing up section of the road that we think would compete in 12 bids. So whenever we did these bids, the contractors know that, so that they know that they're not going to come in and just wipe out all the streets.
When we had the mandatory pre-bid, that was made known to them by the Timberhorn. Of course, you know how that is. They listen to Boone County, and then their estimator that is not present and reaches consumers. But it's something that we're going to have to, in our discussions with them, once we sign the contract, then we can make that underscore.
I can make sure it's.
Oh, most definitely, yes. No, I mean,
So, I said that different in calendar days. With the local bidding, is 540 and the ones that's not local.
well, I mean, you can see that there's a fairly close deal between the large companies. The two others are locally small, and they don't have the workforce. So that basically calls for that one. And it's another thing. Matula knows how to work in the general area.
That's what I was going to get. He knows
He knows.
and he saw what we have done
That's right.
in downtown, and that's why he might have given the leeway on the extra days compared to the ones that come from Houston. They haven't seen what we were doing and what we faced
Yes.
last week.
And we realize that, I mean, the engineer's estimate was 365 days too. I have my doubts about that because having worked on those other phases, we have not been that fortunate to start finishing that thing. It was an outside firm that had never been done work in the vicinity of Lucas Construction. They were out of Pasadena. The second one was Matula. He did the one for the entrance there at that way. I mean, I'm sorry, this way, right between the bank and South Park. And then he did South Park. So Matula has done two of those projects. Correct. Very cool,
Alright. Any other questions? Alright, so I'll take a motion on this item.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept recommendation of the bid contract for the downtown revitalization phase 3 project for utility, drainage, pavement, and streetscape improvements. That way, Circle Way, North Parking Place, to mainly industries of Houston, Texas, and amount of $7,267,190.90, and is not to exceed the amount of $8,357,270.
Can you, can I ask, can you add the motion that we make sure that every business opens and maintained?
Yes, and I'd like to make an amendment to the motion to make sure that the integrity of the businesses, business owners, to not be their businesses.
So, is that an amendment, or is this an amendment of the grant? So it's just a clarification. Okay. Good answer. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. F is approved. Item G, authorize city manager to execute agreements with HR Green Incorporated to evaluate the city's wastewater treatment plant condition and maintenance needs for a price not to exceed $50,000.
Hello, good night. So this is to discuss approval of a proposal from HR Green to run assess and prioritize the projects that we need to have down at the wastewater treatment plant. As you're aware, the plant's about 20 years old, it's come to the end of its useful life. We need so many upgrades to equipment in the electrical system. HR Green's gonna come down there and decide what's the biggest. I mean, we can make that based on what we think, and we would like HR Green to come in and look at everything, the whole big picture, and give us the priority list and what exactly we think needs to be done.
Let me clarify that. The wastewater treatment is
No, I mean, we're not gonna shut it down.
I use the same kind.
And another thing that hurts us is because we've all been talking about the infiltration of rainwater. And, all the rainwater goes through the system, just plays havoc on the system.
It's a lot of work.
We've all, staff has seen, I mean, there's a laundry list of 20-year-old facility. But we just thought before we really started going down the road and making a lot of major repairs, that we were just doing a thorough look and making sure that we've come up with much likely they'll come up with a much larger laundry list, and probably a list that for the next ready.
Questions, do we have certain deliverables from you guys that we're going to deliver to the city operating organization? What's our expectation for deliveries?
That's what they expect me for. Find out what needs to be done.
Yeah, they'll come down, they'll walk the entire plant, they'll look at everything, see where we're overshaking. For example, we know that, we need some electrical upgrades. They'll recommend the best course of action on that. Should we go back underground? Should we come back above ground? What should we do on that? Some of the different equipment upgrades that are going to be necessary, or give us an estimate of this equipment can maybe get another 2 years before you really want to look at, doing something with it. And they're just basically going to go, like Vanessa said, over the entire plant and give us, in your opinion, what we should be prioritizing right now, so that when we spend our money, we're getting the best bang for our buck, and we're actually doing the things that are most important.
So,
instead of just the things that are really flashy right now.
so some of the key deliverables is that they'll do a build inventory, and then they'll rank that inventory or by need to repair, and then do a draft report for staff to see, and the report to go over, see if they agree, see if there's anything, and then they'll give us some initial rough cost estimates for budgeting, budgeting purposes as well.
Is one of the deliverables going to be, for example, that the government will probably drop additional wastewater coming from that? Will you have the capacity of that, or will it pay for the Northwood development coming up?
No.
No, that's not what this should be. So it
Is it
should
just
just be simply to
equipment?
get the plant upgraded for our current usage and a little bit for the future usage. But for example, like I said, we have electrical issues down there. We know we have buried lines. All of our electricity is buried under the ground. We've had multiple breakages, and we've been lucky enough that we've been able to pull. It's been a short break. We've been able to pull it, get to it, and repair it. But we have some very long recesses. We have some very long lines that are out there. We'd like to take those and put those up so that, one, we can repair those easy. We can see them when they break, and it'll be cheaper, to make that repair. That's what they're doing. That's the kind of stuff that they're looking at. We've got a piece of equipment here that might be 15 years old. They're looking at maybe, usually from what they're seeing with others, they're seeing about 20-year life. So you want to start going ahead and really looking at that, or with some of our SCADA upgrades and how best we really want to come into that instead of just, let's go from here. Maybe we really should have gone from here when we looked at the overall growth rate.
It will overall be a great time to evaluate future needs and while we're looking at equipment and use that time to see where we're going in the future. So we want replacement in time versus replacement for the future.
I'll try to speak, so I'll correct me. Currently, the plant is designed to handle capacity for all at 2,000 hours. Others have looked at going, really more than that, then we would have to look and see how that's designed fits in. But all in 2,000, it can handle. This project is just to make what's in the ground. So there's no looking at additional capacity. So at some point in time, we will, when we hit a certain limit, we'll have to start planning the redesign or expansion. But we haven't gotten anywhere near that number.
So we
We may be at 60%, 65%.
Yes, it's gonna go to 75% before you have to restart the plumbing extension of it. So
Another thing that we perhaps would cost $600 more to get the same additional setting that you might need on the sensing equipment. Maybe worth it. I'm not expert on some.
Okay, so my deal is that
How can we budget?
I think what I understand is that we're going to have them come in to do an analysis to be able to, what do we need to fix to be able to be sure that we can operate the capacity that's designed to hospital. Right now, what we're saying is the capacity we have, design capacity we have is enough to meet the future demand that we know about. If any additional future demand comes, it's going to have to go find a place to come to because there's really no land for a lot of huge additional demand to come onto us. So at that point, we have to say
It's just,
on.
I mean, it's as simple as project list that started to grow enough that we all agree on staff. We ought to have a very we're talking about 1 million here, 500,000 here, or just buying a piece of equipment. And 1 million here, it's like, okay, let's take a look at things.
And how old is our plant there and when was the last work?
2002.
the last time somebody looked at it,
I don't know if any before me, before I came on here. I know that they've been, of course, staff's been keeping up with what's going on there, but as far as getting an entire new engineering firm, I'm not aware of.
This is the first time we've talked about do this for.
So when we do these type of studies, just in general, and the final report is done, the recommendations from it, where does that information go? Who gets that one?
We bring it to city council. The engineer and public works and administration looks at the draft report. We the city council sees the report. And then we use that as a basis of comparing our city project.
Move for approval. Motion to approve. Any further discussion, Zach? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Alright, you got authority. Alright, item 8, city manager update, customer convenience and Ms. England? I believe. Ms. England received good news last week that we've received our TT permit to open a customer convenience center. She's promising that it will open tomorrow. So we'll start at some drive-by. We're also bringing in more clear to Ohio 10th. They're spread so far apart, you need someone there, and that we budget for employee next year. But with the savings, we're anticipating overtime. We're prepared to go ahead and hire a team. And that's really just to guide the person who's driving up, if they don't put the wrong thing there, then all of a sudden they dump 4 tires there, and ask them to put them somewhere else. So help manage.
Rick and Kurt made out a list of how-to thing for our employee tomorrow. They've already gone over it with him. They've already looked at the sunscreen shade for him. Got him a chair table. He's all set up to go. We're ready to open up first thing at the same time with the mulch yard.
So a guy in the trucks will drive up on things and get dumpster
roll-offs, yes.
On each side.
on each side. So
Yes.
you don't put it all the way up and drive up.
Yes, yes. And the roll-offs are low, so you're not really trying to pick up anything and put it over. It's low, you just get it out there.
This dumpster contains so much and this one.
They're 20-yard containers, 20-yard roll-offs.
Tire here and maybe the caps here. And you said make sure it turns going that places.
That you don't bring like recyclables or you don't bring your household garbage in there. That's not what this is for. This is just for the heavy trash items. So, and that's what the employee will do. He'll speak to the customers when they come up to let them know, make sure that when he's looking at the load is right. And if they have stuff like, we don't want brush there. So, take that over to the mulch yard. And if you've got something else, where these other locations are that you can take things.
Yeah, it won't change the operation that's there or what we accept. It's just that now that it's in front of the house, we can't see it anymore.
Thank you again. Didn't see that.
All right, thanks. All right, item 5, construction project review. There's some sunlight, so sunshine, so something's going on.
We haven't really had that much sunshine, but work is progressing. Work is progressing on the Walnut lining ditch. Like I said before in the last meeting, they are the last segment. They cut the channel now to the highway, except for the highway portion. They're detaining the water before it starts shedding over the newly open area or extended area. They have not done any crossing work yet. We're hoping they can finish that line first and prepare for the eventual crossing for construction work. The CZ construction is very slowly, doing the finishing work on the sanitary sewer pipe bursting. but they have not really accomplished much because of the infiltration also in the system that prevent them from going out there and doing the operation. We also have I believe there's we just talked, you just heard about the CC, the community center opening up. We are still, as a matter of fact, today I got permission to go ahead and finish up the fencing of that facility so that that will be completed properly. And we have also now, and we're just continuing our designs. We are continuing our design for the Azalea Street completion. That's under on the CDBG project that goes from Circleway to what is now HEB property just across our parkway. We're finishing up that design, and we are about ready to, if we have not already started on the actual ramp part, which is the other portion of this CDBG project. And then in the same vein, we're also working on the sidewalk on the program that we have for this year to do some minimal work on the sidewalks themselves, some street sidewalks.
Just a question for you, Sal. I just have to drive around when my in-laws they live off the Walmart and have to drive around to the bridge, whatever it is, out right now. But had me go into the new areas where we just put in streets, and I noticed that the inlets to the culverts are about half the size of where they are in the rest of the city.
They have, you're saying, because a lot of these are depressed roads. And so, at those inlets. Oh, you're talking about the width of the inlet?
Yes.
Well, depending on the watershed or the amount of drainage that goes from the street to that particular area, you have a cookbook type of thing that always says, 1.1 CFS per foot of opening, so the way you do that is the street.
All right, I just
No, correct.
when I drove by, I said, that's pretty
We
small.
haven't had any problem with any of that water back up on the streets that I know of, but people haven't been paying anymore.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything. I just again driving through that, I just saw that there was about half the width of the other ones in there.
Mr. Sanchez here is the designer, right? And he makes sure that the engineers
Sharp and
and he doesn't take any enemies concerning him. So.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we'll move on to item J. Discuss and consider proposed fiscal year 2021-2022 annual budget and field directions of staff. So this is ongoing agenda items, so we can have any things that we want to add or discuss. We can do it.
I do have a list of encouraging council member. I've received one today. I think it's been something I mentioned. One just requested council and staff to work on some, or John's staff to see some cost. But I'll go. I put a memo at your desk. There's some items that we got with actually today on, and I'll go through the biggest one. So we received officially received the notice our ERCOT ancillary charge for us, and that's $329,000 as part of TCAP. That's a big charge that we'll have to look at how we pay for this year. Anticipated savings or our future to pay over 8 years. That's a fund that that's a charge that we will not be able to get out of the city. Cities are taking legal action, but Sherry can speak.
They're not, this legislature tried to take out all of these charges. I don't know why they would just pass a law, but it didn't work. And people have paid them. business that they the cities are paying them. There's no added money. Our electric company isn't adding anything to it except that we're going to pay every time. And a small interest rate. It's just a complete absolute okay. The way they did this was they saw how much ERCOT charged, and then they added up how much electricity everybody used in those 3 or 4 days, and figured out what percentage to have those
Is every year?
No, this is just
This
because
is
of the
because
storm.
of the winter storm.
Just the winter storm. And
Every city
I guess
is-
they warned us in May, but we didn't get the letter. We didn't get the letter. It was a complete shock. Yeah. Not that we're being penalized for not getting the letter. The electric company was working with cities that didn't get the letter because the
And, from talking to, some other city managers, we're below average on this. The cities that really got hit hard were the ones that had utilities.
What are we paying for? What are we paying for?
That's a good question. What exactly are we paying for?
So the electrical industry is not what you call they can make poor management decisions and we pay for it. So it's their inefficiencies that they're paying for.
And the fact that they lied, well, people will stop using electricity if we object. Yes, no, it's too late. We've already got what we're going to, everything's set in place. We can't control that. And no, I thought people are literally freezing to death. And they started, just cutting, literally, electric off. We got really lucky in this temper. It was hugely important.
It's supposed to be.
PUC.
Yeah, PUC that is directors of Governor Abbott.
It's supposed to be. Everyone on the board got fired, and they keep trying to put new people on the board, but no one wants to be on the board from Texas, right? And but even the new people on the board are like, we're not.
I still wanted a better answer for getting the vote before I paid 50 cents. From that.
Well,
They charged a higher cost during the high demand, and so now we're back paying on that. What we used during those couple of days, the difference in the demand rate is essentially what you're paying.
So, like, for example, in my household, we're locked in at a certain rate.
But this isn't your rate. This is
No.
This is not the rate.
No.
This is ancillary pass-through charge.
Yeah.
which is all,
If
which
you
is
look at
also,
your bill, you have two
Yes.
components. One is the energy cost, and you have the PUC cost, which is several different items per kilowatt hour. This is the service charge. This is the cost for the inefficiencies.
So is this for the whole,
Line loss,
is this for the whole city of Lake Jackson?
this is just the,
This is just the city.
this is our bill.
You getting yours at home very shortly.
Yeah, I know, I've been told, my electric company, like, we're not gonna do that, but I'm not going to until maybe 5 years.
And it makes it be, spread out over time, but every individual electric user, any consumer will see a consumer charge. So it's not part of the negotiated rate that you agree to from the power provider.
It's the government portion of the increase.
Yes.
In other words, this will be used for 2 days.
No.
Wow. So for
Additional cost, inefficiencies, because the power plants went down and the real-time cost of power is up.
Are they gonna take off
They didn't do anything.
Empire?
Again, there's no way not to pay for this, so eventually I'll probably turn it off. But again, I started reading what other cities were doing, and I started looking at all the cities that had utility plants, curb bill, bill is $4 million.
It's not.
It's not
Yeah,
good.
very not good.
It's still not good.
Okay. So that's the first one. We'll be, staff will be looking at how we pay this. Either it will be recommended as a CIP project, or we'll draw it down for contingency, or we'll pay this down out of the current operating budget because we anticipate savings. And portion of this out to the utility fund and the general fund based on our usage. And we'll have the same transfer to the CIP.
And the pay for Xactus is like when you install it, projects.
It can be paid by the CIP as a project because it's savings and we just have to rate it as a project. We're going to look at what our best options are. I do not want. I really don't want to carry it forward to part of the tribal budget as part of our operation. Most likely, then you have to so we'll probably have 2 or 3 options.
If you plan it to go into as part of your CIP, are you talking about you're going to plan in, for example, this budget to have this savings, say this $21,000 for CIP transfer?
Yeah, well, if I plan it as a CIP project, we either can come in for this budget as a CIP, or I think as a budget on the planning structure is that we would plan most likely for to amend this budget and just get it out for the next.
So there's no cities pushing back on this. We had our lobbyists at the legislature trying to get it securitized at least. That's cheap market. They go out there and lobby the legislature. But educate them. Yeah. There's just nothing. Okay.
Okay. The second item is the request from the city attorney that she brought up in our budget hearings. The salary is $40,000. Really can't. I don't have an answer right now until we get final numbers from the appraisal district. The third item is at least positive news. This is a one-time credit our insurance provider. It says that we're going to get next year. That's $29,646. So that could partially fund, this position, and we've got a little more, $11,000 in there, and then we would budget, the following
That question. What's the duty of a part-time company, the hours and all that?
Okay.
I can see your attorney.
They're gonna work on the cases. That means they're going to be a docket talking to the group they might go to. Wait, are we gonna dance?
Are we, is that like they were teaching that all doing work?
No, oh no. They are gonna work the cases, like they're gonna look at the videos and talk to the police and talk to the witnesses and get everything ready for the trial. They're gonna have the trial. If they're gonna do all this stuff, that is keeping it is not just short of
Eight, 7, 8 hours a day job.
well, they're just going to be working part-time, but and whoever comes in will have to work with what hours they have, but they will be here during certain days so that the police can talk to them, and their office can talk to them, and they can review the videos together, and so that it might be some evenings, because, the night shift is here, and that's, they're going to be doing everything that the police do. I think they'll do that for us.
The dollar amount, what did you come up with?
So I asked other people, and they
they said don't do it hourly because it'll be way too expensive. A beginning prosecutor should make about $80,000 a year. So. But if we just have 30, we can see it in the next year.
Yeah, my suggestion, if we wind up only having a third, my suggestion to share the amount is for the
Or just we're bringing in October.
You want them to have.
I do.
What's the thing?
maybe get which ones.
That's right.
This is like new graph.
Okay.
Or it's somebody who has their own practice who would like to get a definite picture. I mean, I tried being out of that way. And it's hard to you don't know what.
Somebody for fixed income, right? Fixed costs.
Or maybe someone who's looking to have that much
Yeah, that's right.
from practice because they're writing retired, but they still want some sort of income to keep their litigation.
Okay. So these three were operating budget items, and then I had several capital items, and then we were asking the council about their items. But I'll quickly go through the capital items. The fourth one was the Mulsite Road. That is the capital item that's already in the proposed budget. We had $225,000 for the road, on site for the building. The road component, I think, is $150,000 and $225,000. I've been approached by the Gulf Coast Transit Authority to see if we can do something. They were looking at doing something sooner. I let them know. I've already cut them loose to do bid specs and probably do something. What I didn't know was that they had a quote already from the contractor who built the building to repair the asphalt, about 12 inches, 12-inch asphalt, or 8 inch.
Not 12-inch asphalt. It's a 12-inch base, cement treated base with a 6-inch asphalt cap.
So they got a price from their contractor that was close to $100,000. They've asked if we would consider that and then partially paying. I read partial was 50%. We have not specified what partial means. So that's how we're going to try to. We thought we were going to have a phone conversation today to see whether or not they're thinking of if they participate, and if there's interest, us participating in that type of road, or doing the concrete, and then we contribute as a chamber. I just don't know if we want concrete, if their contractor can do a contract. They may be able to.
Yes,
I mean, they've done so much flat work already that they should. It would probably just increase our contribution. But if we work with them, I think we could save some money. Instead of
Something needs to be done about it.
Oh, yes, yes. We knew about that one, we just didn't know when it could be done.
The question would be, and I'll just give an example, just for talking your numbers, is the council would be interested if there was 100,000 asphalt road as defined by Sal, and they were willing to split it 50-50, and our cost would be 50,000 versus 150, or if they were willing to do a concrete road at 150, but they would still only do 50,000, and ours would be 150. One we would have an asphalt road that would save 100,000, or possibly we could do a concrete road that would save 50,000.
Is he one of them better than the other? But
It's gonna last longer.
well, concrete will last on, no worries about that, but, the type of structure they're proposing has some merit because, I mean, I'll put it in the right perspective. We put an asphalt road along Maple Drive, the one that you drive right now. That was based on an 8-inch base, untreated base, and we only put 2.5 inches of asphalt. It's lasted since the Dow, did their construction down there. So it's going on 7-8 years now. So a 6-inch would probably take you down to about 15 years longevity or even more. So,
Have you put whatever they can make it shorter?
well, yes, just like anything else, and that's one of the things that I was talking to Sabrina about the equipment folks do. The equipment that transport that the bus service uses is not a heavy use vehicle, and they don't use it constantly. They just go in and out and whatever maintenance stuff they need. Our use of that one is primarily there may be two 18-wheeler trips every so often. We're going there to use it. Yeah, correct. The rest of it is just typical pickup trucks and so in that respect, they don't take the beating that a typical medical drive has.
So that's one project we don't have to have a decision today. The other one was the mayor was in attendance at a luncheon, and the Commissioner Payne had mentioned a couple of projects during our road, and they were asphalt projects, and those are 6 and 7. But during the conversation, we asked if we could get a price on some works. It was a project that was on our radar, we just couldn't. And they looked at it and gave us a price just slightly less than $100,000 on 6 and then you can see the other two were redone over County Line 288. One is from the county line to Willow at 90,000, and the other one is a train that go over the Willow Street. Both of those projects would have to be, well, really all three most likely would be projects that we would bring to when we talk to the we do have a little bit of money left over from the CIP, but now with the energy conversation, no, you don't. So we probably have to be on the
Is this letting them from both sides?
Yes.
All blacktop. And so the reason why I asked about it was because since all the rains we're having, the road is deteriorating. Every time I have a rainstorm, it will drop through there, you have potholes drops up and stuff. So we've been chasing those. So we had the opportunity, they came in and said we did 3-inch overlay, and that should give us quite a few years. The right answer would be is take it all the way down and replace it with the base instead. We can't afford that, so it's going to be just a little bit for most stuff. That would give us
Good hope to OCB, 700,000 wide average for the section from County Willow, 90,000, 3.8. Linear foot per mile.
I have to go back and look at the linear foot detail if we have it.
There's a great discrepancy in one and the other.
The only thing I possibly is
Maybe widening.
No, they really don't have that much one to be able to do because they're about itching most of it. So I don't think it's one of the road. I really don't know why, and I'm guessing that whenever they were planning to do the full roadway through there, so remember at one time they were planning on going through there, improving all the entrances or all the connections. They may have just used that number and taken it out of it.
Yeah, because that looks awfully high.
Yeah, that's,
I mean,
that's
You're hot now.
the trees.
I mean, it is high. I don't know if it's I mean, it's even high for the contract.
I think maybe there's 1 0 too much.
Standards. That's what was on the email. We'll look. It's just those two projects were really not on our radar list. The one that staff was interested in was item number 5 because that is on our project.
So 6 and 5, 6 and 7, are those the ones that they kind of came to us in the past, or was just 6? And we said,
I think it was just 6. There was another project that was a cost. I went back and looked at that and the question we put it on it's $190,000, and it's really not described in the same way. So it didn't get a clear match on 6 and 7.
So that 6 is county road entirely, and lucky 2 down and 4 wheel drive, that's county. I was told.
It is a county maintained road, from Bucky's all the way down to the church, prior to getting to, from there on, it's looking on.
It's usually
But you got to look at the distance from the road to the county line. It's not
No, it
that
is
great
not.
of a distance. And then you're looking from the road to Foster Creek. I mean, that's a
That's not my question.
It's a long way.
My question is why are we entertaining the fall split when we said road? That's not question.
That's an argument to be made, yes.
We'll get you more details on this project. Again, we were not looking at this as part of the budget. This was just something that the commissioner asked for consideration. And we submitted them with the project that I had asked about. So we'll get more details on that. It'll be on our multiple projects when we're talking about that. It's not part of the CIP.
Okay.
And then I believe Mr. Simone requested.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mundo and the board can come out and work part of the town, running that street. And one thing we noticed that the road joints, the 4 corners joined concrete, and most of all the residential streets, even some of the newer ones, is due to drought and conditions that are popping up and breaking off the corners. And every time it rains, the water is getting through them and destroying the subways and the street, concrete streets. And it won't be long before we have issues with those streets that are failing. So ounce of prevention will go a long ways, and I would suggest that we blacktop, not the blacktop, I'm not sure I'm using the correct language, but we put some asphalt in those cracks and seal them. So this is not a sealing program. This is going to be the actual black asphalt in those corners to seal them so the water does not penetrate and go into the subways to destroy it. Make those streets last a lot longer. I know we cannot afford panel replacements, but you're going to get there pretty quick if you're going to take care of those cracks. They won't be good enough. So that's just pay me some now or pay me a lot more later.
So I'll describe, I think what Mr. Simone was asking was coal patch.
Yes.
And I spoke with staff, and we do coal patch, pothole repair, but it's very minor. And it's not really because of the budget can't afford materials, it's a staff material. And so what I've asked staff to do, and they weren't able to get with the contractor at Angle to do, is one, can you do this and what volume would you need for you to be interested in? Because it'd probably be like a panel replacement project. At some point in time, yes, you've got my interest, you've identified this many repairs, I'll come down, but I'm not gonna come down to 5, here and 5 there. So we've got to strike up a conversation with the contractor to see what level would you do something, like this. That's the conversation we're trying to have to see if we can like.
It's sort of brand new street that we just installed, or have it installed. So, you can go down Circle Way and you'll see those corners busted out. So, I just hate to see all this good stuff we get from cities.
So, it's one of those rare.
So minus the staff position, you have the ability to actually do the work.
We have the equipment.
We just don't have the money for it, especially
Well,
the streets and drainage.
the coal patching process isn't that complex or equipment demanding. And basically, it's a lot of just handling. Manual labor that goes on there. Our crews go in there and they bring in a load of the coal patch material, and that's what we're going to remember this afternoon. Is we more or less do around 600 patches during the year, and we do that with just materials, and then not more than $2,000, $3,000 worth of material. But it's the labor component that is a problem, that we don't have people to go out there.
Yeah, and I really think that it's probably, deceiving. Usually says like, yes, we could probably keep a 2 or 3 man crew busy doing this all the time. And it's like, okay, I'll get you the budget for a 2 or 3 man crew. But we can fill positions because we've got 7 positions, already open, throughout the year. So adding 3 more positions doesn't really, add 10.
We're pulling together. Sanitation.
Yeah.
Right.
So the question is really, the answer is trying to see if, until we upright the ship on keeping positions filled in the long term, is seeing how we can do it with a contractor.
Well, when we were talking about streets with the budget on Saturday, we talked about street repair, and we talked about doing a contract for that. What the component was, as I was talking about, we need to maybe chasing the cracks in the streets and filling the tar and all that kind of stuff. And that's when we start talking about contractors to do that. Was that the contractor do that, or was that contractor do the panel jobs?
So the contractor we were talking about that was for the joints. And that's
Specialized equipment, that's fine. And get back to what Renee's talking about, and which I agree, is that we need to see what we can do to address the breaks like he's talking about. Also, all the other cracks that we have, be it blacktop or panels, that we have cracks that we go and fill those with tar. The blacktop street, asphalt streets we have here are failing for a lot of reasons, but one of them is we haven't maintained.
Definitely something we have not maintained.
And so we need, if the right answer is short term to be able to catch up, let's go find a contractor that can do the coal patch. Let's go throughout every street and you have in the city of Jackson carry around a bucket of tar and then squeeze in the tar into the cracks and it's
you go down the Yopon, it's like driving I'm serious. I mean, it's just a very rough road. And we definitely don't want to be known as the pothole city of and I know we never have a list.
well, we have the 2.5 million that we're going to do on panel replacements. That's that would not do a whole bunch of Yopon, but I agree. Yopon, Lake Road, and I go over and look at 4th Street Garage. Been there for about 8 years. It's probably last longer than what's going to last now. If we have a crack, we fill the crack up. Here we go. And so now the street is failing. Orchard Creek Drive is failing. It's going to be a monster to fix. When we go in there and do that, that's going to be extremely expensive. So, yeah.
You can still save them by bringing it back.
So the right answer is find a way, like I said, for a contractor, find a contractor to come in and get us caught up.
And this is where we have a problem, because very few contractors in the area, and I'm talking about all the way to Hamilton, or even points beyond, are into the asphalt business. Now, there's only one that I know of right now in Hamilton that does that. And there was one in close to the island. They're few and in between, and when it comes down to small type of maintenance up, they really aren't that big. They like to come in there and do a significant size job so they can use their equipment and their workforce.
So we're talking about the budget and direction to staff. I think we're getting off topic. I think it's going a little farther away from the agenda. Do y'all want to give direction to staff to look into this and add it to the budget?
Right now, all we're doing is we're going to look at, have a conversation with the contractor to see what amount is necessary to do repair to gain interest, and that will come back with the CIP project. And we'll not be able to get into the operating budget unless we make a cut. So it's going to most likely be a CIP project, which is exploring. Is it a $50,000 project? Is it 75, 100? When they gain it?
We just got to talk about the money with the CIP project, but they are different. So, I mean, you guys just one circle, so we just don't have the money in the CIP. So if it doesn't come out of operations, then there's nothing out of it.
So we have to first get the amount, but in the operating, if we have to put in operating, we'll have to look at the list and we'll have to cut something.
Good. Anything else? That was Mr. Singhania's request. Are there other items that other council members have? Staff to start researching and considering. Okay, we're going to do community items of interest, item K, we're going to executive session. KB?
No, sir.
Rhonda?
Yes, sir. I would like to take this time to thank Alice Rodgers for 36 plus years, 24 as our city secretary. I came on council in July of 14. Every time I've asked her a question, she didn't know what she was trying to answer for me. She was very helpful in helping me and adjust to the council, and she's been there every time I call her. Thank you very much. Doing here, I hope your retirement is a great one. Thank you very, very much.
It's been a pleasure working with the city council. I came to this building in 1984. As city secretary, I have worked with 6 mayors and 31 different council members, so it's been a pleasure, I think.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Brother?
I'll echo what you said. I'm going to miss a historian. Alice has more time in the city. Just from the room back there, really all doing it. So she has a wealth of knowledge and
I have nothing to add as far as community items of interest. And I would move on to executive session. Close regular session for now, and open